One of my favorite movies is Braveheart. And there's a scene where the Scottish politicians make a deal with Britain, basically taking wealth, safety, and security in exchange for their liberty, and also at the same time giving them William Wallace to kill. What I love about America is when our founding fathers had that same offer from Great Britain, their response was, give me liberty or give me death. They wrote the Declaration of Independence, citing 27 biblical violations and declaring independence from the tyrant king of England. And they ended that declaration by pledging their wealth, their lives, and their sacred honor. And many of them gave up their lives during the battle. Many of their children were killed. Their wives were killed. Their wealth was pillaged. But we were destined to win because God gave us a bulletproof leader. General George Washington was literally bulletproof. You see, 20 years prior in the French and Indian War, France and Britain were fighting over like the east coast of America. And the French allied with the Indians and the Brits allied with us. And in one particular battle, the British outnumbered the French and the Indians, and they also had George Washington and about 100 guys with them to go into this battle. But the British were only used to fighting on open fields. They weren't used to snipers and Indians hiding behind trees. So they ran into an ambush, and every single officer that day was killed. The only officer that was unharmed was at the time 23-year-old Colonel George Washington. When he seen the general fall and no other officers, he called the men into retreat and saved what was left of the men. He wrote a letter to his mother and told her, don't worry, miraculously, against all probability, God's providence had protected him. He said he had 4 bullet holes in the chest of his coat and fragments of shrapnel in his hair. He said he was on a horse that was shot and killed underneath him. He got off it, got on another horse that was shot and killed underneath him. Yet he survived. He survived the whole French and Indian War, having 7 or 8 major diseases that killed most men. But God protected him because God had a plan for George Washington to lead us in the Revolutionary War. But before then, maybe like 15 years after the French and Indian War, during peacetime, an Indian chief met George Washington and said, I've been looking for you for years. He said, during that battle, I told my men to shoot all the officers, and my men don't miss. Our guns do not miss. And you were the last officer standing, and I told my men to aim at you, and I seen bullets take out your horse. I seen bullets hit you, and I knew that you had a greater spirit than ours protecting you. And I told my men, cease firing upon that man. That man is protected by a great spirit. George Washington was predestined to be our leader and to give us the freedom against all odds. But Washington seen in the French and Indian War that the British didn't know how to fight snipers. So he had all these farmers and hunters and rugged Americans behind trees like snipers, and we beat the British, the greatest military force of that time, beaten by a ragtag team of Americans. This is why every American in my generation was proud to be an American. And sadly, you see, I just seen a YouTube video, this guy went on Georgetown University interviewing students, and none of them would say they're proud to be Americans. Some actually said they're embarrassed to be Americans. How did this happen? I'll tell you how it happened, but I'm going to encourage you that it's going to change because people are fed up. I just listened to a song, Am I the Only One? I sent it to all my close friends, and I'm going to share that song with you in a minute. I'm not going to sing it, you'll die, but I just want to tell you a little bit about it in a minute. But let me tell you how we got here. You know, there was also read recently, a North Korean woman risked her life escaping the communist regime of North Korea. Was so happy to be in America. Brilliant woman, was able to get into Yale. And she said she was so saddened when she heard her university's professors repeating the propaganda of North Korea. She said, I had literal communist propaganda in every class. Not only were they telling me that America is racist, America is evil, America was founded on racism, America is a horrible country. Not only did they tell me that, but they told me there were certain words I couldn't say, certain things I couldn't talk about. And I said, what happened to America? She said, in universities today, communism rules. Now, this is a woman who's been in a communist country, and I hear this all the time from people that come from Venezuela and Cuba. I talk to these people all the time. They're very afraid of the people that are in charge now in Washington, the party that's in charge of both houses and the presidency. But I'm going to give you a little hope in a minute. But how did we get here? Universities professors have always been Marxists. They've always been anti-American. You know, our kids get in, they get indoctrinated, and they come out and they hate America. That's nothing new. But what's new is the media is taking an active role in it. See, these are the same people that graduated from these universities. These Marxists in the media are pushing this Marxist agenda. So when these students are pulling down statues of George Washington because they're saying he's a racist, and statues of Jesus Christ from Catholic churches because they say he represents white supremacy, the media covers for him and say, oh, it was just a peaceful protest, when the people are there with their phones saying, no, it isn't. It's not peaceful. These Marxists are violent and they hate America. And so we got there with the media covering. And then, if you remember, I want everybody to post their favorite patriotic song as a comment. I'm going to paste this Aaron Lewis song, but I probably got a couple more I want to paste too, but paste as many as you want on there. And if you remember, after 9/11, the whole country came together. It didn't matter if you were Democrat or Republican, everybody was patriotic, everybody was waving flags. But then Barack Obama used identity politics to put together, and this is like any political scientist will tell you, this is how he won. It's called identity politics. So he put all these identities saying you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim, and pitted everybody against each other. And that's how he won, and that's how he governed for 8 years. And then we got away from that for 4 years. I mean, when President Obama was the first president, he would not, when asked, is America an exceptional nation? He would not say America is an exceptional nation. He was the first president in the history of the United States that would not say America was an exceptional nation. And I'm here to tell you, America is exceptional, not because of any race. The exact opposite. We're a melting pot of immigrants of all races, but our system of governance, free enterprise, capitalism, that made us the richest, most powerful country ever known to man. Before America, most of the world lived as servants and serfs and slaves. Most of America, most of the world was poor, diseased. The lifespan was like 30, 40 years. Life was miserable until America, with its capitalism, brought so many people out of poverty. America is exceptional. And now we have a president, President Biden. He took it even a step further. Not only will he say America is exceptional, but he says America is systematically racist. All the police departments are racist. The military is racist. The schools are racist. All the sports are racist. And so all this nonsense they're teaching, the critical race theory, I won't get into that, and the 1619 Project, all this stuff to divide us. There's no wonder this young black man a couple weeks ago went out randomly shooting white people and when they said, why did you do it? He just went up behind white people and shot them in the back of the head and killed them. And they said, why did you do it? He said, because they have white privilege. They deserve to die. This is what these universities are teaching these kids. This was a college-educated kid. White privilege. The white man is privileged. Now, we're all equal according to the Declaration of Independence. We're all created equal in the eyes of God. And this is still the greatest country ever. And Aaron Lewis just wrote a country song, and it's kind of cool because he used to be a rock singer with the group Stained. Awesome voice, and now he sings like he had an awesome rock voice, now he's got an awesome country voice. And he asked the question, am I the only one? And I'm not going to sing because when I do, usually people ask me to sing in a different key, like Key West. But just one line in the song that just gets me every time. Am I the only one willing to bleed and take a bullet for being free? And I can tell you right now, based on his comments, he's not the only one. And I know my viewers watching, 99% of you will tell him he's not the only one. And there's going to be a backlash because average Americans, I'm a truck driver, I talk every day to average Americans, and I can kind of get a sense of this nation. I'm pretty good at predicting elections. And I guarantee you in 2022, freedom-loving people will take back the House and the Senate. And in 2024, we'll take the White House back. Because people are sick and tired of this nonsense that's pushed on us every day, every day. Ordinary citizens that have never been involved in politics are going to their school board saying, stop teaching my kid this racist critical race theory. People that have never been in politics are registering to vote. We're going to have a huge turnout, and it's not going to be right against left. It's going to be people that love freedom against people who hate freedom and disguise it and everything else. So, like I said, pick your favorite patriotic song and paste it. I'm going to put Aaron Lewis's song, Am I the Only One? I sent it to all my friends, and I almost made a mistake. I was going to send one-to-one, and he actually has one that's really profane. So just be careful if you look at that one. You don't want to, he like drops a couple F-bombs in the song. He's mad, he's passionate, but St. Paul tells us to not be profane in our language, to have pure language. So I don't recommend that version of that song, but I definitely recommend the song. And he's not the only one. I know all yous out there love this country, and thank God for founding fathers like George Washington. So listen, if you're buying or selling real estate, please go to realestateforlife.com, and I guarantee you're going to have a patriotic, American-loving, God-loving realtor help you move to a state that we still teach freedom in our schools. So, right now you got that. A lot of the states are teaching this critical race theory. Ron DeSantis in Florida banned it. Greg Abbott, Texas banned it. And it's a trend where these blue states are teaching Marxism and the red states are teaching freedom, capitalism, and teaching our kids to love this great country of ours. So you're still free to choose where you want to live. I would recommend you move to a red state and go to realestateforlife.org to find a realtor to help you. God bless. Stay Catholic.